Good morning. It's a wonderful 58 degrees out on my last day here in Venice, and today, for the first time, we're gonna go check out what's on the south side of the river. And here's the impressive facade of the Pitti Palace, behind which are the legendary Boboli Gardens. This feels perverse, but the cappuccino I'm having at the little cafe inside the Pitti Palace is one of the best I've had in Florence, which is really saying something. Welcome to the Boboli Gardens. If I remember correctly, the Medici took over the Pitti Palace, which used to belong to the rival Pitti family, and then during the 16th century they built out these beautiful gardens behind it, which served as direct inspiration for many of those that showed up at royal courts in the future, including Versailles. And as we walk through here, I'm sure that one will be able to see hints of that. In the center of this courtyard stands an Egyptian obelisk. Not a huge one, but still impressive. This is an obelisk of Ramesses II, and apparently it was discovered in Rome after it had been shipped over there during Roman times to adorn the Temple of Isis. And then it was bought by the Medicis and brought here as sort of the centerpiece of the garden. This is just such a beautiful day to be out here. Mid-60s, breezy, morning sun. Oh, I love Florence. One difference between this and Versailles, there's a lot of elevation change here. I think this is the pinnacle. You can see all of Florence spread out in front of you from here. Happy trees, all happy in the rain, dancing in the wind. I would love to stroll through these little gardens if they weren't so muddy. This is called the Chestnut Meadow, named for the deciduous chestnut trees, which stand out from the majority evergreen tree population in the rest of the garden. It is lorded over by the giant face, which is in fact a modern addition. Also, if you're curious about the column, apparently so is everybody else. Nobody seems to know where it came from, but it's thought that it was brought from some demolition that happened in the middle of the city a long time ago and just kind of placed here. I don't know, it could be like that big block from 2001. It watches over us. Here's the cypress lane. I wonder if these are the original cypresses planted all those years ago. They can't be, right? It is really pretty. The little statues beneath the massive trees. Over there, on an island, surrounded by a moat, and protected by a closed wrought iron gate, is what appears to be a citrus grove. You can already see some little yellow lemons on some of those plants. This is the ultimate goal for the balcony agriculture. This is a sculpture by Pitti from 1648. And this is why one doesn't leave the nice sculptures outside, because they lose their heads and their faces. Citruses! Look how pretty, how vibrant these colors are. I love this. I have a rose bush on my balcony, and this thing where they grow little spikes that are covered with really red leaves, that's really awesome, because it means even when your bush isn't blooming, it still has some of the redness, some of the color to it. Like, look at this one. There's just a few flowers, but the whole top of it is red. This is the lemon house. This is where all those potted lemon trees from that little island we were just looking at go to spend the winter. It's important to keep these guys fenced in because they're highly aggressive and will bite tourists. I would believe that this guy is a 17th century original. Look at how magnificent. Here's the Madame Grotto. This is all fake rock. They carved this to look natural. And if you look inside, all of that supposedly natural cave stone was studiously faked. That was built for Cosimo I's wife back in the 1600s, and they didn't have any caves nearby, so they just faked the entire thing. Me after this vacation. He's really just sitting here, just hanging out. The Pitti Palace itself was originally the palace of the Pitti family. Then at some point during the early Medici era, they took it over, and then during the time of the Grand Dukes, it became the official residence of the Dukes Medici. Afterward, when the family went extinct in that line and they were replaced by a family of Habsburg adjacent folks from Lorraine, this continued to be the residence, and in fact was, I think, up until the dukedom itself was abolished. So lots of history here. This was sort of the White House of Florence. The young Michelangelo. These rooms were originally the chambers of the Grand Duchess, and now they serve as an art gallery. This is a really neat painting. I'm guessing it's Hercules against the centaurs. Wow, Napoleon really was a little guy. And these are the Grand Duke's chambers. Now this is a cabinet. Here's the funeral mask of Lorenzo il Magnifico. I think the paintings got him right. These are some of the most exquisite workmanship I've ever seen. That was the Pitti Palace, and some of those works in there, the quote treasures of the Grand Dukes. Oh my God, those are some of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. New decor desire unlocked. Here's the famous Ponte Vecchio, but from the inside. As you can see, it's all jewelry stores. Cellini sculpture. I'm climbing up to Piazza Michelangelo, and these grottos are actually really pretty. This phenomenal view of Florence. Got the important landmarks. Got the Palazzo Vecchio, Il Duomo, obviously. Yeah, look at all of that. I think that is Santa Croce. Wow, the whole city, or at least the part of it north of the river. Beautiful. On this side, I think that long strip there is the remains of the old wall of Florence. So concludes my last day in Florence. I am going to miss the hell out of this place, and I will definitely be back. So tomorrow, get up bright and early, board a train to Rome. I do have to say, I was so lucky to get this fall weather today, to really experience the cool, be able to dress a little more nicely. It's been fantastic. I would like almost to come visit in the winter, because I feel like maybe it would be less touristy, less crowded. I could maybe get to practice my Italian a little more. So yeah, I'll definitely be back here. If you are looking for a thing to do and you have the means to take a trip to Europe, may I strongly recommend Florence.